Coming up on Saints Now, ESPN says that Ndamukong Suh to New Orleans possible, that the Saints are the best fit for the 35-year-old defensive tackle. Also, OBJ New Orleans, we've talked about it. Does it make sense, though? We'll let you know, and then we're going to finish the show by giving some shout-outs to Who Dat Nation. We just surpassed 7,000 subscribers here on Saints Now. Let's get to 10,000 before the season starts. If you haven't already and you're a Saints fan, go down and hit that big red sub button. With that, we get into today's show. Welcome into Saints Now. I am your host, Will Scott, breaking down all the latest news and rumors surrounding your New Orleans Saints. And we start with the possibility of Ndamukong Suh joining the Saints, who is one of the top remaining NFL free agents. And if they can get Suh, it would certainly add to what is already a fantastic Saints defense. Here's what he did for our division rival over in Tampa Bay last year. 27 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 13 quarterback hits. But what stands out the most are the 6 sacks. His production is still there even as he's getting older. Matt Bowen, who covers the Saints for ESPN, said this about Suh. I originally considered matching the veteran defensive tackle back with the Buccaneers, but with Tampa Bay signing Akiem Hicks, we should expect Suh to land with another contender during camp. Suh had 6 sacks in 2021 and put some good tape out there in the postseason. So we saw it the last 3 years up close and personal when Ndamukong Suh was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He still remained incredibly productive, 12 sacks over the last 2 seasons. I mean, this guy just won't go down in terms of production. Here's what Matt Bowen continued to say. I really like the idea of Suh playing in Dennis Allen's defense. Even in a rotational role, Suh can still create disruption, command 2 in protection, and get home to the quarterback in scheme fronts. He'd be effective in New Orleans with interior stunts and loops that create a gap pressure and eliminate the quarterback's ability to climb the pocket. And you need that when you see Tom Brady twice a year. So Matt Bowen of ESPN says that Suh to the Saints does make sense. Now, the Saints obviously very talented on defense. They're really good on that defensive line, but you could put Suh right next to Marcus Davenport and Cam Jordan right in between them, and you could get a lot of sacks. I'll tell you that much. Do you want the Saints to sign Ndamukong Suh? Go ahead and like this video. We're in a contest here at Chat Sports. We're trying to show our bosses how legit Who Dat Nation is. Go down and like this video if you want Ndamukong Suh in New Orleans. Here's what he's done over the past 5 seasons. So, we've talked about, how good he's been his entire career. Was outstanding, obviously, with the Detroit Lions. Really good in Miami, good in L.A. He goes to Tampa Bay, and he still is really good, even at age 35, tallying 6 sacks, 13 quarterback hits last season. So there's no question that Ndamukong Suh is still a heck of a football player. The question is, does he fit on the Saints? Here's what the defensive line depth chart looks like right now. And obviously with the Saints, Dennis Allen, they rotate heavily on the defensive line. So with that being said, Suh could really help. You could put him right in between Cameron Jordan and Marcus Davenport. You have some really good talent as well. Just, Shy Tuttle's good too. But Ndamukong Suh, I think, would be the better option to start there. Now, the Saints still have about $10.6 million in cap space. They can, shockingly, I know, still have that much in money and can go out and make another move. Maybe that move will be Ndamukong Suh. I do expect the Saints, though, to go out and sign another player before it's all said and done. Before we get into our next story, subscribe to our Chat Sports main channel. They're approaching 300,000 subscribers. The sub link going to be in the comments and in the description. Help our Chat Sports main channel get to 300,000 subs. Another guy that could be bound for New Orleans, OBJ. Jarvis Landry continues to recruit Odell Beckham Jr. to New Orleans. The Saints obviously have gone out and they've gotten some LSU guys, Jarvis Landry, Tyrann Mathieu, maybe Odell Beckham Jr. the icing on the cake as we bring producer Trace in.
Yeah, man. So, first of all, hey, Will.
What's up, man? Bayou boys are back.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, honestly, I was putting the script together for the show, and Tom Downey from our Cowboys channel, he sent me the link to this article saying that, there's been a little bit more buzz around Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. and his recruiting for trying to get him to reunite the LSU Tigers and the former Cleveland Browns and get that connection going again because – I mean, as we saw, they were electric together. I mean, I think it would be really, really cool, and it would be a lot of fun, but for me, my short answer is no, it does not.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for him to come to New Orleans. Like, you look at our wide receiver depth chart, we have Chris Olave that we just drafted. We have Michael Thomas who's coming back from injury. We signed Jarvis Landry. We also still have Traquan Smith who, some people are iffy on. But then, you also look at Marquez Callaway who had a phenomenal season last year. But if you ask me, I just say not right now. I'm not saying it won't happen, but maybe, if we have a playoff situation where it's all right, we can, put a big run in, or we can go for a run and we can try and make things happen right this second, then I don't see an issue with bringing him in. He knows how to win, and he did well in the playoffs with the Rams, and in the Super Bowl he caught a touchdown. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you mentioned the depth, and the Saints certainly have plenty of wide receiver depth. Do they need OBJ? Easy answer there is no. Does OBJ help this team make a playoff run? Absolutely. Imagine if the Saints are right there with the Buccaneers in the NFC South, and they're 6-2. The Bucs are 7-1, something like that. You bring OBJ back for the final stretch, second half of the season. That's going to go help catch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think a move like that. And you never know. OBJ, sure, he's not going to be back until week 9 or week 10. However, what if you do have a wide receiver go down? What if the Michael Thomas situation takes a turn? You never know what's going to happen. OBJ, you could probably get him on a really cheap team-friendly deal because he's probably only going to play half the season. 1-year deal, vet minimum, bring OBJ back home. Went to Isidore High School. Same high school, by the way, as Peyton Manning and Eli.
Hey, I mean, that legends are built and bred in Louisiana, so, guys, real quick, I wanted to ask this. Do you guys actually want the Saints to sign Odell Beckham Jr.? Because, for me personally, I've been a Saints fan for almost 15 years now, and yeah, it would be fun.
I'm saying yes.
Yeah, it would be a fun
I've gone back
piece.
And forth on it. I've gone back and forth. Why the hell not is really what I say to signing OBJ. So Saints fans, go down in the comments section. Let us know what they should do. Type Y for yes or type in for no. Do you want the Saints to sign OBJ? It's the pinned comment on today's video. And an ad break comes here in a few seconds. Go down. Let us know what you think. Looking at his stats from the last 4 years, and Trace, I think a lot of people thought in Cleveland that maybe OBJ was washed, and he proved in L.A. that is not the case.
Yeah, so I'm going to give a quick shout-out to my guy, Marshall Green. He's in charge of our Giants channel here at Chat Sports, and we had an actual debate going on. People were getting heated. Is OBJ washed? And his take, and I will give him full credit, I trust my eyes.
Yeah.
I look at what OBJ did with the over the last couple seasons, and the averages started going down. The touchdown production, kind of goes up and down and stuff. But at the end of the day, you look at what he did with the Rams. Still, this season alone was incredibly more impressive, and I think that you saw that he could still be a lethal and very exciting piece as a deep threat, especially deep into the season.
The Rams do not win a Super Bowl without Odell Beckham Jr. No question about that, especially after the Robert Woods injury. Him coming in, him being that productive, a big reason why LA hoisted the Lombardi Trophy at year's end. Here's some of the pros and the cons to bringing OBJ in. So we mentioned the culture piece. I think he'd be a great culture piece. You're going to add him to a locker room that's pretty close-knit. He's already close with a lot of guys in that locker room. And obviously the main pro is he's still very talented. Sure, he's coming off that ACL tear. But I think he's going to recover from that, still be a very talented receiver in this league for years to come. And you give Jameis Winston another deep threat, something he really needs, I think, to have a breakout season. But Trace, what are some of the cons here?
See, I think some of the cons are that, the wide receiver depth is actually fine right now. This isn't something that we had going into last season. I think that if you look at our wide receiver depth chart here, this is a lot more attractive of a depth chart than we had last season. I mean, last year we had Traquan Smith and Marquez Callaway as our wide receiver 1 and 2, and Deontay Hardy, kind of as well in the mix of 1, 2, 3. I mean, you could kind of interchange them all just because they were getting hurt, missing games, whatever. I mean, it was just a nightmare. And so I'm a firm believer that you can't have too much wide receiver depth. But what I will say is, I don't necessarily think he would, fit right this second. I'm not saying he'd be a bad fit by any means, but I also think that he could invite some locker room drama. I think that he is kind of a hothead. He has had that in the past and stuff. But as we've seen, he can mature and he has grown in his game.
That's the narrative with him. But are we really buying that?
Exactly.
Because that was not a storyline in Los Angeles. It was a big storyline in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield with him in Cleveland. Now, apparently, he might want to go back to the Cleveland Browns with Baker being gone. So the locker room thing with OBJ, I just never really bought into that. I've never really viewed that is something that's super legitimate. I think, you can say that about a guy like Antonio Brown. I don't know if I'm saying that about OBJ.
Yeah, and that's why I put the question mark on the back end of that, because maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I think if he came to Louisiana, I think he would be fine, honestly. It's where he's from.
Yeah,
he went to college here.
Went to Newman High School, yeah.
Exactly. Why would you not want to, come back and ball out for your team and stuff? And I mean, come on, man. You got to look at this and not just get a little excited. Like, this
How about
has to
those
happen.
Tigers?
It has to happen. We have to make this happen. Like, come on, Mickey.
Oh, man.
Come on.
Come
This
on.
would be so much fun.
Hey, Bayou Boys. There we go.
Yeah, that's the real Bayou Boys.
Juice and OBJ, they were reunited in Cleveland. Perhaps they can be reunited again in New Orleans. And I know that if that happens, the Saints certainly would have a chance to make a deep playoff run. But I don't know if it's going to happen because OBJ very well could be going back to the LA Rams. He's been linked to LA throughout free agency. And Sean McVay got married over the weekend. And guess who crashed the wedding? Odell Beckham Jr. Is he going to crash Sean McVay's wedding if he doesn't want to go back to LA? I don't know, T. If I had to make a prediction right now, I would say OBJ goes back to the Rams.
See, I think I have to agree with you, and that's where this question comes into play do you think that he would ever come play? Like, yes, you may want him. Yes, we might be able to afford him. Yes, it might work out where we can get a team-friendly deal. But he is just coming off of the ACL injury, which is all right, but he is in LA. He is on a Super Bowl defending team. That team didn't get worse. It's still a very, very talented team, and the NFC East is very weak. So, I personally, I have to agree with you. I don't think he will play with that. I really don't. I hate to say it.
I think the Saints are one of the 4 teams that are very much in the mix here. I would say it's the Saints, not in any particular order, but the Saints, the Rams, the Patriots, and the Browns have been the 4 teams we've seen linked to him the most. But if I had to pick one of those teams, I would say the Rams. Let me know what you think, though, down in the comments. Will OBJ ever play in New Orleans? Type P for play or type W for won't.
So, guys, I wanted to give a quick shout-out to J.P. Cook, Tedra Covington, Dylan Desporte, sorry if I said that wrong, The Big General, Corey McCollum, Dale Nobles, LeBroderick.s. You guys all followed me on social media. I asked for y'all to show me some love and hit me with a follow last week. You guys all hit me up, and I promised you I'd give you a shout-out. I promised 10. I only had 7 people follow me, so, maybe we'll do another one. Also, double shout-out to Corey McCollum for, hitting me up and shooting me a DM, give me some kind words. I really appreciate that, guys. And I wanted to open this up one more time for an opportunity to get a shout-out. If you want to earn a shout-out, first of all, subscribe. Second of all, name your favorite all-time Saints player. Drew Brees, Marcus Colston, Marshawn Lattimore if you're a newer guy. You got Deuce McAllister if you're old school. Just let me know, guys. I'm here curious as to what you guys think. Let me know.